Bernadoodle's barnyard. Homesteader's right arm, bringing back tradition, living in God's nation. Bernadoodle barnyard.
Hey guys, I'm Renee. Welcome to Bernadoodle's Barnyard. So on this vlog, I'm going to do something a little different. This is going to be a personal log of my own progress. I'm trying to better myself by losing weight and toning up. I had 3 babies in 4 years, and not that it's an excuse, but it's time to make myself healthier again. So for the last couple weeks, I've started a diet which is more on the lines of keto, where I am trying to cut out some carbs, eat a lot more protein, and I've been going to an exercise class with martial arts. So it's July of 2025, and I'm starting this journey off at 255 pounds, so wish me luck. This one also has some weight to lose, so he's on a diet. Hello. So what I'm making for dinner tonight is a keto version of a stroganoff using the rabbit meat I grilled up last night. I have some gifts from my friend. He gave me a squash and a zucchini, both on the larger side, so I skinned them and also took out all the big seeds, sliced them up and have them sauteing with some onion. I'm going to add the rabbit meat, mushrooms, I'm going to add butter, some of the heavy goat cream, and some red wine, pepper, and garlic probably. Without the pasta to soak up the sauce, it's kind of stew-like, but it tastes really good. So this is my 3rd week into the martial arts class. I haven't done it in 8 years, so there's a lot I need to be refreshed on. I'm a little nervous about the fact that they had me go in the blue belt, which I was left at, when I feel more like a beginner white yellow belt, because I haven't done it in so long. But some of it's coming back pretty easily, and that's great, but everything else I'm just gonna have to go often and practice. I haven't lost any weight yet, but I feel like my bloat's gone. I feel a little healthier, a little less achy, so it's going well, I believe. So we finally got a break from the mid-90s. It's only going to be 74 and cloudy today, so if we keep this up, I can finally get back into cooking my more healthier meals, which are all cold weather food. So today I'm making some venison chili. This is probably gonna be. Hey guys, so today is October 14th. I've been at the martial arts class for a little over 3 months. I got my first belt. We get them every 3 months. There's a test. And I've been sticking with the diet pretty good. I feel a lot healthier. I really haven't lost a lot on the scale, which is frustrating because it's been a little while, but I can tell I'm toning up. So I'm going to attribute that to muscle weighing more than fat at this point. Like, my calves are a lot more toned, my belly's a lot less bloated, so I feel a lot better. So I've been slowly reducing my intake of carbs and sugar and everything else that is making me bloat. And starting November 1st, my husband and I are going to do full carnivore diet for at least a month. I'm going to do a month and see how it feels, really. So I've been building myself up to that, increasing the fats in my diet, increasing the protein, and trying to cut out some of the vegetables and starches. So I came up with a few recipes I'm going to try soon. This morning I tried some carnivore pancakes, and I'm going to show you some of those recipes as I make them. So part of the goal with carnivore diet is that you eat as much as you can, and especially in breakfast, to make yourself feel full so that you're less interested in snacking. And a lot of people end up actually dropping meals because they're still full from the breakfast they eat. So we'll see how many meals a day I'm eating when I get full into it. And you're trying to trick your body into not thinking it's starving. So by eating a very large meat and eggs, dairy breakfast, the goal is that you get over that starvation feeling, that your body panics and then it holds on to the fat, and the hormones make you hold on to the fat. So trying to reduce your cortisol by telling your body that it's getting the food. So even if you're getting plenty of food, a lot of people have the brain animal instinct that you're being starved because people portion their food in a way that makes them still hungry. And when your brain thinks you're not getting enough food, that you actually hold on to fat worse. So I'm going to be eating some crazy big breakfasts coming up. One lady I was watching she had like 8 eggs, a pound of ground beef, and yogurt as her breakfast. It's like, that's a lot of food. But I think it's kind of a work up to that. One thing I also have to deal with that a lot of other people don't is that I had to have my gallbladder removed. The hormones from my pregnancy with my second daughter caused me to get some gallstones, and the doctor had to remove my gallbladder, which really hasn't affected me much. Your gallbladder stores the bile, so without a gallbladder, your liver just kind of makes up for it and makes a little more bile. It just doesn't have a good storage area for it. So I really haven't noticed much difference. I still eat a full fat diet and I'm fine. But I do have to keep that in mind when I go on this diet, that I'm going to be increasing my fat. So I've been trying to build up to it by eating more bacon grease, butter, and letting my body adjust to that difference. I'm attempting to make some carnivore friendly pancakes. I whipped up 5 egg whites to stiff peaks. I'm going to add some baking powder, and then I'm going to stir in the egg yolks and fry these up in some bacon grease.
So they've been doing that to the younger generation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That means they're starting.
I also stirred in some vanilla. Now I'm going to scoop it into the hot pan.
Enough. Wait a second, Eleanor. Ready, Mom?
Hey guys, so it's October 21st. I have, at least in spirit, for the last 2 weeks, been doing the carnivore diet. The very few things I've done that are not according to the diet are so minimal. I would say I've been on the diet for 2 weeks already. My plan is to start November 1st, where it's really strict. I've only had a couple things like carrots in my soup and tomato here and there, but for the most part I've just been eating animal proteins. I think it's doing good things. I feel a lot stronger. I've also been exercising more, so I can tell I'm a lot stronger from that. I can tell this part of me was like, out. So I'm starting to regain my waist a little bit, which feels good. My arms are a lot stronger. When I first started my martial arts was 3.5 months ago now. I couldn't even do one shaky push-up. It was like a big flop. So now I can do 12 with no shaking. I really haven't tried to do more, but I probably could do a few more than that, especially not on a timer. So that's really cool. I am feeling much stronger. My calves are back to being muscular. So in terms of how I feel on the very high protein fat diet without the vegetables and the grains, I feel really good, other than the fact I've had a lot of brain fog lately, and I've had some headaches. And I watched a video yesterday where they were talking about that can be normal when your body's adjusting to the new diet. So that makes me feel a lot better that if I continue on with this, keep with it, that will go away. So I'll link that video in the description. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos trying to make sure I'm doing this diet correctly, so I don't want to quit and I don't want to make myself worse. So doing it the proper way is important, and there's a lot of people saying a lot of different things, so I'm going to just take it easy on myself and do what works for me. So some people do a lot of dairy in it, some people don't. A lot of people don't do any herbs and spices or anything else. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep with onions and garlic in my diet. I'll never cut them out. I feel like they're healthy for me, and I'm going to take the health benefits over any negatives of having that vegetable in my diet. And I'm also not going to cut out spices. So I've already, for a long time, been cutting out sauces and sugars, but stuff like vinegar and dry herbs in my cabinet, I'm going to keep those in the diet because without flavor, I am going to quit. I like the taste of food. So it needs to have some variety and flavor. So I'll be doing full carnivore very soon. I've been doing huge breakfasts, which is like a half pound of ground beef with a bunch of eggs, as much as I can eat for breakfast, until I feel full, but not sick full, just happy full. And I found that I'm not hungry at all the rest of the day. So at least half the time I'm not eating anything after breakfast, and also almost never want lunch anymore. So if I do have meals, it's been breakfast and dinner. And my dinner's been early, so it's not right next to bedtime, which is important. You don't want to eat and then go to bed, so then your body's just taking that nutrients and none of it's getting worked off and you're just sitting there. It's not a great idea. So my dinners are early, like 4:30. So it's going really well. I'm pretty happy with myself so far. I'm not sure how long I'm going to stick with it. Right now I'm going to start with it as a cleanse. So I'm going to do it for a month, see how I feel on 0 carbs and 0 vegetables. And if I really like it, I might continue from there. Unfortunately, if I really, really love it, I'm probably not going to stick with it during the summer because I just built a very expensive, beautiful garden, and I'm going to just be spending large amounts of my weeks tending to that garden. I will be eating the vegetables. So I might lower my intake of vegetables if I feel better, if I feel less inflamed from eating more meat and less vegetables. I'll probably stick to that, but I'm not going to cut them out completely because it just doesn't make sense to have such a beautiful garden and not eat the vegetables. But again, we'll see how I feel. I'm going to play it by week to week, and if I want to keep going, I might go all winter on this carnivore diet if I really like it. So a couple days ago, I had my 4-month stripe test for my martial arts, and I was really happy that I beat my push-up record and I was able to do 18. And what's really fun is that I have an old card from when I was there 8 years ago, and even after doing it for over a year when I was there last time, and I was a lot lighter, and that was before I had 3 kids, my card actually had 0 push-ups. So I didn't realize I was unable to do push-ups back then. I couldn't remember not being able to do them, but it was I couldn't do them well enough to count for the test. So they were really shaky. I probably put my, shoulders up first, not going up straight. So, mama muscles. After having 3 kids, my shoulders are a lot stronger. So I was really excited to beat my record on that. That's actually probably the most push-ups I've ever done in my life. I used to have really loose shoulders, so like my shoulder would pop out of joint too in high school, and I could never do push-ups. So kind of a good feeling being able to do them now. Oh, I don't think I said it. It's how many I can do in a minute. Also, talk for a minute while I'm milking Bella here. So things as a newbie carnivore that I want to say before I get into doing it too much. So my thoughts as a beginner. I want to say that if you're thinking about doing this diet, make sure to build yourself up to it. Don't just go from a full diet of grains and veggies to deciding the next day that you're going to do all animal proteins and fats. I think you'd be really sick. So give your body time to adjust. Do it over a few months. Cut out one thing here, one thing the next week, and just slowly make your way up to it. And adding the fats is a big deal because your body, if you're used to processing sugars as your main calorie intake, switching to your body being able to digest those heavy fats is a lot for it, and you need to give your liver time to adjust and time to get used to the new diet. Same as like if I'm feeding my rabbits a diet from one brand and I switch them to another brand in one day without giving them time, they literally die. Like, it kills them outright. They bloat and they die. So you add in a quarter of the new food, and then the next day or two you add in half, make it 50-50, and then the next few days you make it 3/4, and eventually you make it the new food. Give yourself the same grace period. Don't just jump right into it. I think I'd be really sick and give up if I just jumped right into the full animal proteins with nothing else. So I chose the carnivore diet because I'm looking to make my body more muscular. In listening to other people's YouTube videos, one girl went from full vegan to full carnivore, and she's been doing it for 6 years. She's my favorite person to watch. She said, if you want to lose just weight, if you want to lose the most weight in the shortest amount of time, go full vegan. But in doing that, you're going to lose all the weight, not just the fat weight. So you're going to lose muscle mass, you're going to lose bone density if you are only eating a vegan diet. Whereas with the carnivore, it might take a while to lose some weight, but that's because you're building muscle also. So when you're done, in theory, you should lose the fat. It might take a little longer. You actually might see the scale go up for a little while as you're building muscle. And eventually you're going to lose the fat and you're going to be a lot stronger a person. So one thing she jokes about is you go vegan and you lose your boobs and your butt. If you go carnivore, you still have your boobs and your butt because, well, you need animal proteins to have those. And I am looking to be more of a athletic figure than a skinny. It's just my goal. I have wide hips. I will never be a size 0. My friends in high school were small, and it always made me feel bad. And I came to realize that I will never be, probably size 10 is probably the lowest I'll ever be, even at my smallest, because I have very wide hips. So I'm not going to wear a size 0 pant. That's not my goal. My goal is to be a lot stronger and just look more athletic. I'm curious also how breastfeeding is affecting my journey here, because my body's still trying to hold on to, nutrients for the baby and trying to keep up my milk supply. So I'm curious if that's affecting it, and we'll see when I'm done feeding my baby if I lose more weight. That would be nice too. But until then, because I'm going to feed him till he's at least a year old, probably a little more, until then I'm just going to get myself as strong as I can get. I just made my first round, so I know they're good. I'm making some pork rind coated pork chops. So what I did was I cut up a pork loin. I battered them in some scrambled egg, and then I coated them with this pork rind panko. I'm frying them in beef fat. Today is November 20th. I just weighed myself and I've lost my first 13 pounds. So it's been a long start without really losing any weight. So I was losing bloat and I was toning up, but the pounds weren't going down. Now they're starting to go down, so it does feel good to see that, Start kind of wanting to change plans if it's not going down at all, but I had to trust the process, and it is starting to help me lose weight by doing the carnivore diet and some martial arts. So I haven't been doing many cooking videos. I will eventually get back into that, but right now I'm doing the carnivore diet, and some of my meals are really boring lately, so just lots of eggs and ground beef and, just not that interesting to post. So we will eventually have some new recipe videos for you guys. Good morning, it's December 1st. So I've been on the diet most of October, really, and really strict through the month of November. And like I always planned, I decided to end it on Thanksgiving. So since Thanksgiving, I've been eating a non-restricted diet, and honestly, I feel like crap. So I'm going to try to lean towards more of a carnivore diet in general, because I've had bloating and headaches, like horrible migraines every day since I got back on a normal diet, and my joints are all achy. So something in the diet is making me feel sick. I need to figure out what it is. So whether it's the cow dairy, maybe I'm lactose intolerant, or maybe it's the carbs, the wheats, I'm not sure. So I'm going to try to figure that out. I'm a big believer in eat what works for you. Not every diet works for every person. So just eat what you like and try to figure out which things are causing you to be inflamed or have medical issues, because everyone's body's different. And I think for me, the carnivore diet really did good things. I was feeling a lot less inflamed. I was losing some weight. I was having a lot less headaches once I got past the initial withdrawal from not having sugar. So the first little while, right when I started the carnivore diet, I was having headaches from not having sugar, and then I was feeling really good once I got over that. But as soon as I got back on the standard diet, I've been just so sick. So I need to figure out which foods are causing that. All right, so final notes. Did I like the carnivore diet? Yes, I really did. The food is pretty good tasting, and I definitely feel more full when I have a meat-based meal than when I had something with carbs. Did it work for me? Absolutely. I feel a lot less bloated. I lost some weight, so I feel like it was working really well for my body. And thirdly, am I keeping with it? Sort of. So my plan is to try to have a mostly carnivore diet, but at the same point, I'm not going to be so strict that I cut things out that I want. So, such as I'm not going to special order something at a restaurant that is just meat and eggs with nothing in it. And this weekend's my daughter's birthday. I'm going to have a piece of cake. I'm making her a beautiful 2-tiered carrot cake with unicorns on top, and I'm going to share that experience with her. But day to day, I'm going to try to keep with as much eggs and meat as I can, as little carbs and sugars as I can, and whether the cow dairy is bothering me or not, I might try to cut that out entirely. So thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. I'll see you next time on Bernedoodle's Barnyard. Have a great day, stay safe, and if I continue with this, I'll give you an update.